Hey guys, Spar124 here again, doing a quick tutorial about this technique called Rondo, which is a combination between resin and Bondo. And it's typically used by customers to harden the inside of pieces of armor to make them more resistant and durable, rubbing and whatnot. It won't make it paintball proof or airsoft proof or anything like that, but it'll make it a lot more durable during conventions or costumes, Halloween costumes and whatnot. I'm going to show you the product, the thing I'm using to harden, the amounts, everything. What I'm going to use to as the example is Ezio's pauldron that I'm working on right now. It's the steel plate configuration just below the Stufenhofer, or I don't know how to say it. It's the simplest armor, and I like it the best because it's very simplistic and looks good. But I'll show you guys the entire process of how to do that. Alright. Okay guys, well this is the pauldron, what I've got so far. There's segments that go onto it, but this is just the top part that actually attaches to the chest piece. I made this out of foam board, and I've hardened it with fiberglass, and I topped it with Bondo so I can get it sanded down and get that really nice look to it. I've got some work to do on it, but I wanted to Rondo it, that way I could just get it out of the way. This is Sintra. I built that to actually hold the shape. It's actually pretty sturdy right now, but this Bondo, it's in a kind of a high wear area, so I want to see if I can Rondo the hell out of it to make it a little more durable, because I don't want this thing chipping or cracking during a convention. Well, okay guys, well, this is the second part. You guys are going to need some Bondo fiberglass resin and some Bondo body filler. I'm sure there's other off-brands, but I prefer to use Bondo because I know how it reacts. Some formulas are different, but this is the basic ingredients you need for Rondo, including the hardener. You're gonna need some other things. You're gonna need the hardener for the Bondo, that stuff, a stir stick of some sort, disposable cups, and plastic spreaders if you want it. I don't use them, but I picked them up just because they were cheap. And a respirator. This is the most important part. Do not use this without using a respirator. Make sure you're outside, around no children or anything like that when you're using it. Alright, take your Bondo body filler. That's what I use to start with because it's thicker, so you won't have splashing or anything. You obviously take the top off and get one of your plastic cups and just pour a little less than halfway in the cup. It's a little thick, it's a little cold outside, so it's not going to be super viscous or non-viscous. I'm not sure what the difference is. You guys are gonna be careful with the how much you put in, because it could overflow. You don't want that. Half and half is usually the recommended dosage for Bondo when you make Rondo. Scrape off the best you can. That's good enough. I mean, you don't need to go crazy. It's not precision. You don't need measuring cups. Just eyeball it. That's all I do, and it works out pretty well for me. Okay, get rid of this stuff. Next, you're going to need fiberglass resin. Now, this stuff is really dangerous. You need to put on a respirator when you do this. Alright, I'm going to switch to voiceover because you guys won't be able to hear me very well when the respirator's on. Alright guys, here we go. Fiberglass resin, and make sure you're wearing your respirator, obviously. And pour it very slowly so you're not splashing into the plastic cup. But you don't want to get too crazy. You don't want to overfill it, obviously. You don't want to waste it. It's pretty expensive. I did that swirl there just to eliminate any bubbles. That way it's easier. Mixes better. Make sure to seal up the cap tightly, because I've had leaks before and that's not good for anything that's around it. You take your stirring stick, which is just a stick, literally, and slowly start stirring it in. You don't want to start going too crazy, otherwise you'll spill over the edges, get all of your hands, which I should be wearing gloves, but I guess I'm too awesome to remember that I'm supposed to be wearing gloves. Keep mixing, keep mixing, keep mixing, and eventually it'll turn into a kind of a thicker gravy kind of consistency, and that's when you know you've got it. I'm just gonna. All right, guys. Once you're done mixing up that Bondo and resin, you're gonna add your cream hardener. I like using the Bondo because it's red, and you can see how much you put in, and you can gauge by the color how much hardener you put in. The more hardener, the faster it cures. But the less time you have to work with it. Obviously, the less time you put in, or the less amount of the hardener you put in, the more time you have. But if you put too little, then you're just going to screw up everything. So you might want just do like salmon color. You know, you actually can get bottle plastic spreaders that actually show the color you need. Basically, you stir that up. Make sure you get everything all stirred up. The sides aren't really important, but you try and want to get everything. You know, don't want to waste anything. It's not too much of a stir job here. Okay, once you get that all stirred up, then you just go ahead and pour it on slowly. Use a moderate amount just to gauge how much you need. And just slush it around. It's like slush casting. Just make sure you get around the edges and whatnot. Like I said, I should be wearing gloves, but meh. Should get all the edges and around. Like I said, don't put too much. You don't want to waste any. Kind of keep it on a budget, so you don't want to be too wasteful. La-di-da-di-da. Just the same process. Just be careful. I'm just going to show the entire process here, the entire pauldron and all those segments, without any editing or cutting, except I've got a 2x speed right now, just so you guys can see the entire process. So you guys, there's hardly any questions. That way, it's pretty clearly explained how to do it. Oh, there you go, guys. Alright, guys, here we go. Take the fire. Alright, now we're back in within the confines of my massive palatial estate. This is the finished chess piece, finished Rondo. There's a lot of work to be done on it. But once you slush cast basically the inside, it hardens it pretty well. Made sure to get the edges around here where my arms will be a lot. I'm going to get a lot more wear around the edges and the bottom as well from bending over and twisting and whatnot. Just general, it works really well so far. I haven't really taken it out for testing, but I've heard good stories about it, so I'm going for it. Plus, it kind of smooths out the inside a little bit, so make it a little less rough for me, so less padding and all that, because I'm going to be in this for a couple hours. The only problem is it makes it heavier. Not too much heavier, but it still makes it heavier, and it seals in heat a lot better, which is bad. some might figure out some kind of cooling system, or I don't know. But either way, that's Rondo, guys. Just comment if you have any questions. Message me. Just remember, just be really safe with this stuff because it could hurt you really badly. No one wants to breathe fiberglass in. This is Sport124. Thank you. Please rate, subscribe to me, and continue building awesome stuff, guys, because I see some pretty good work coming from the costuming community, Assassin's Creed related, and there's not too much actual Bondo involved costumes, so it's really good to see that. Thanks, guys.